The idea of separation. Separation is just an illusion. We are all one consciousness, one love. There's no separation between anything. Everything around us, everything that exists, come from the same thing, the same light. The features are different, the shape is different, but deep down there's no separation at all. Some people are understanding this. Some people are aligning with this, especially nowadays, where the earth is shifting consciousness and people actually realizing that this was always an illusion. This was an illusion made by men that were rooted in fear and they couldn't accept the different shapes of the world, and they had to create their own identifying system. They had to make the other ones different than them to prove power, that they were better, that they could accomplish more. This was and still is what makes all these wars and all this hate in the world, is because we're not able to see each other as a mirror, to see each other with compassion, to see each other with the unconditional love and the light that we have behind us. Behind the physical body, there's something in common in all of us and in all the things that exist. The reason why this separation started, the reason why this illusion was created, is because people forgot where they come from. They got stuck in the 3D reality of materialistic things, of seeing each other as different just because we have different possessions, just because we have different realities, because we believe in different ways of thinking. And religion, for example, is actually a big idea on separation. The fact that we all believe in something higher than us, but then is completely different rules in terms on what to do, in terms of what books we read, in different costumes, in different ways of treating people, in different habits, but deep down it all comes from the same place. It comes from light, it comes from consciousness, it comes from being a good person, of being this higher frequency, embodying this higher frequency that is above us, that is all around us, that is within us. Man created this separation because of the ego, because he was never able to understand why that person is thinking that way. They never had the power of approaching different ways of thinking, of living in a way of curiosity, in a way of compassion, because it was always based on fear. So they would see everyone different than them as a threat. That's why all of this stuff happened, like Holocaust, for example, because they just decided they are different than us and we more powerful and we have the power to do whatever we want, so we're gonna decide to terminate them because they are different. But if you look them in the eyes, and this is actually a really interesting exercise that I like to do, is like when you look to someone straight into their eyes, the first minute it will feel awkward. You will start to judge them, they will judge you. You're gonna start to think if they are judging you, if they are seeing your imperfections. In the second minute, you start to really understand the person that you have in front of you. Past the judgment, you start to acknowledge the person, the features of that person, the different characteristics that that person has that makes them different than you. But in the third minute, there's something deeper that happens, is you understand that that person is just like you, is just standing in front of you, being judged, being in the position of vulnerability, where you look at them and you see past all the material things, all the physical things, and you start to understand that that person has something in common with you. And this is the moment where you actually understand there's no separation at all, and it was all an illusion. This is one of the most important realizations on earth, is realizing that we all mirrors. And you ask me, how can I be a mirror of someone that plans wars, of someone that is full of hate, of someone that treats bad the animals, of someone that treats bad other human beings? Because we have this idea that we need to identify with them, and we don't. We don't need to identify with anyone. Realizing that we're not separate from each other and realizing that we are all one, it doesn't make us the need to identify with what other people are doing. What I want to say with this is just seeing everyone with compassion, because deep down, all those people that are rooted in fear and hate is just wounded inner childs that never had opportunity to heal, that never had opportunity to grow or to evolve. So they become adults and they keep feeding that energy of fear, of hate, and this is their reality. So this is what they keep creating because they are in the position to do so. Maybe the mirror that you see in them is something that you are not anymore. Or maybe it's a part of you that still needs attention. Why is that person triggering you? Why is that action making you shocked? Maybe it's a proof that there's still something inside you that also need to be worked on. But when you change this perspective of separation, you actually in the position then to help, to show them the love that maybe they were never given, to show them even a better way of being, because we all mirror. So if you triggered and if you're gonna act on that trigger, you're not gonna help the person because it's gonna come from a place of judging, because it's gonna also come from a place of separation. But when you realize and you break completely this illusion of separation, you're able to see that person with the love, to see that person with the light that is deep down hidden. And when you see someone like that, you immediately break, because you're not gonna feed the energy that they want. You're gonna be the bigger person and actually show them that you can be still loving even if the person is completely rooted in hate and in fear. You are not, and you should be grateful because you have the blessing of not living in that reality like most of the people are living, but you also not separate from it. You still live in the same world, even though you align with a different energy, you in the same reality. It's up to us to learn from each other, to grow with each other, because our consciousness on the planet and as a humans only evolves if we all in the same evolving frequency, if we all align with the same knowledge, with the same energy. Their actions ultimately will have their consequences and they will learn from it or not. Depends on them. It's not something that you can control, and is also not something that you should look up to control, because ultimately everyone needs to do their healing and their realizations in life, cure that inner child, that wounded inner child of their own. But you have a responsibility when you see things in this way, when you align with this unconditional love, because if you embody that, you are a vessel. You are a vessel for consciousness. You are a vessel for God to work through you. And who are you compared to God to judge anyone just based on their actions? It's not your work on yourself and to be able to inspire others to see the light inside them, to make them align with the same consciousness that exists all around. We are able, we have an opportunity, all of us in this planet have an opportunity to align with the one consciousness, with the one love that exists above, within, and all around us.